Welcome back to the Wrestling Related Podcast, where the topics are related to wrestling and we are related to each other. I'm Josh.
I'm Dustin.
I was going to say, Dustin, which direction he's creepy. I'm Corey.
And you guys are hopefully catching us on your favorite podcast platform, whether that be in audio format or video over on the YouTubes. And
if it's audio, then you're missing half the jokes.
This is true. This is true because there's a lot of visual entertainment at times.
This guy, wherever he is.
No, whichever ones.
Everything's all bass backwards over here.
Things and stuff. Yeah, it's mirrored for the mirror. Hey, what'd you guys think about this last week in wrestling? Anything stand out to you? Anything you want to talk about?
The weekend or the whole last week? Well, what happened since we met last? We had an entire week of AEW.
And an entire week of WWE.
Well, yeah. No kidding.
Amazing when that happens the same day every week.
Shocker, a week apart. Let's touch base on AEW first. I was again extremely disappointed all week long for like the third week in a row until finally they said next week the House of Black is returning.
Yes.
And I felt relief. I was like, oh my gosh, where have these guys been? Come on.
Then we still have to wait until Saturday because it was Collision that they're returning.
You know what? It'll be okay. It'll be okay because House of Black's coming back.
Hey, I'm not happy with that because tomorrow night, Wednesday, I'll be in Des Moines for AEW Dynamite, and they record Rampage as well. So if it would have been on Dynamite or Rampage, then I could have watched it. But they won't.
As is, you'll have to wait and watch the rest of us.
Yeah. As is, I'll have to settle for Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix.
That one looks to be interesting. However, that also reminds me, who was it that his brother
Penta.
Crazy again. Penta, that's it. He's names. Penta. Who was it that he wrestled this last week? That it was it the Butcher?
That might be.
Yep.
And I was like, woof. Everything went to like slow mode. Like we were walking through things. Like somehow early on, both these guys wound up with a concussion and didn't know what was happening.
So
I don't know what went with that.
Speed, Corey. Just because you haven't been really up to speed with a lot of AEW until recently, here's a little history
Please.
recap. Chris Jericho is a pro wrestler turned rock star. The Butcher is a rock star turned pro wrestler. There is a difference.
Okay.
I can imagine.
Am I wrong?
No.
He is. He's a great guitarist for a heavy metal band.
Is he?
But he is. He definitely is.
I mean, I thought you were going to tell me he was a legit butcher.
No.
Like working in a meat factory or something, but
no, he is a legit,
Tyson plant.
Really good heavy metal guitarist for a rock band that turned pro wrestler.
And there may have been a little bit of a language barrier and some miscommunication and whatnot. Okay. That makes more sense. I was just like, I don't generally see that out of Penta, but I was like, I thought it might be, but yet I could have swore I saw him in a tag team, Butcher that is, in a tag team where things weren't like the drizzling whatevers, and this one was, and I was like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah, there were definitely a few of those things that Chris Jericho says don't exist, botches. But yeah, it definitely happened. Speaking about Chris Jericho, everything to do with the learning tree is my second favorite thing on AEW.
Oh my gosh. Last week, I seriously fast forwarded through the entire show with the exception of everything that was Jericho and Tony Storm. And I was superbly entertained.
Yeah.
I was thrilled.
It was like, so much fun.
Oh, it was like, this is money. That's money. I'm having fun.
I think I'm going to go to the dollar store in the morning, grab a couple cardboard or the little paperboard signs, and I'm going to have to do
it last minute.
That just says, "I'm here for TV time." I mean, it's true in multiple ways. So yeah, I thought that would be fun. Hey, well done. Also AEW,
please.
The beginning of the show, MJF comes back on last week's Dynamite, and him and Roosh have a promo exchange, and Roosh has improved a ton on the mic. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like, I was rather pleased with that.
I haven't heard Roosh anything prior to maybe about 6 months ago, and even then it was like little clips here and there from something. But even just a little bit of promo time that he had like a month or so ago was like, I was like, whatever. But that was amusing.
Yeah, that it's definitely a match that. Do we think they're going to do that at Forbidden Door?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would.
They
say what?
Yeah, try one more time.
I froze up.
You're good now.
There I am. I'm good now. Okay. Delayed reaction. I think the rest of my family's using up my Wi-Fi. Yes, they have to turn around and do Roosh and MJF at Forbidden Door. They have to.
Yeah.
And just to jump back here, you said, Corey, you were saying you were very disappointed up until they announced the House of Black. There's an old term. There's an old term that says your wood might be wet. If you have not been thoroughly entertained by Kyle O'Reilly's matches, your wood's wet, brother. You can't light a fire under anything. Because his matches the last 3 weeks have been fantastic.
I'm disturbed about having a sibling discussing my wood. However,
it just means you can't light a fire under your butt, brother.
With that being said, Josh is still chuckling. He's like, I'm out. However,
if you take offense to having a limp,
Kyle O'Reilly.
But go ahead.
No, nobody said anything about limp. Or biscuit. So Kyle O'Reilly is very good, but I do not get a kick out of Orange Cassidy. Sorry. If that hurts your feelings, then get over yourself. You know,
although
not everybody likes the same stuff. He's his own cup of tea, and you guys dig it. That's cool. But I'm just like,
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I don't know as you've ever really enjoyed like
Orange Cassidy.
Well, no. I was thinking
Ha
comedy gimmicks.
No, I love haha when done right. Florida Brothers from Dragon Gate. That was hilarious. I was like on the floor, rolling in circles, dying.
But okay,
yeah. But Orange Cassidy, not so much. Kyle O'Reilly, when he did that match against Black. And then also, recently he was against who? Was it him Osprey. And Osprey?
Osprey, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good too. Even though I don't think that Osprey's the second coming of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's good. But I think there's too much hype. I would rather him just show me how awesome he is instead of just talking about how awesome he is.
So since Corey seems to be in a bad
mood, let's border on
upset him even
stuff.
more.
I'm a little hangry. I'm telling you guys.
You heard Max Caster said he had a better elbow than Macho, right?
Oh, that guy needs. Oh no. Hold him underwater until the bubbles stop.
He did.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna make him swallow that microphone.
He's got a good elbow. It's not better than Macho's.
It's not better than Macho's.
No.
I wouldn't even say it's better than Jay Lethal.
The only elbow.
It's not better than Jay Lethal. It's not better than Macho's. It's not better than Perry Saturn's.
Saturn's is the only one that I would say could have been argued being better than Macho's. And
that's because the guy jumped like 8 feet in the air and froze.
Exactly.
Who? What?
Yeah. It's not even better than Briscoe's froggy elbow.
No.
Ugh.
And the froggy elbow is cool. Like, I like that variation that he puts on it.
What about the Japanese chick from
Kairi
that
Sane?
Does the
froggy elbow.
She got a crazy elbow. That thing, because she's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's worth watching.
Yep.
Anyways, back to AEW. What else?
At least Caster's is a good elbow.
It's okay.
But like, there's a difference between saying that you've got the best or you are the best, and then backing it up. Ospreay backs it up. Max Caster, on the other hand, nope.
Okay. Talking about Ospreay. Was it this past week or the previous week that he had that he was on record discussing, hey, Ricochet?
Previous
What's
week,
up?
I believe.
You need to, I was thinking it was a previous week. And now here we are this week, and it's like, so it begins.
And so it begins. I thought Ricochet's retweet to Ospreay or reply or however he did it, even though he didn't directly to reply to him, he just posted.
Sure.
It seemed bitter in the way he did it. It was very
about
his current position.
Padawan. Listen.
I think he seemed a little bitter about him being relegated to X and the Speed Championship, and that was it. And also maybe a little frustrated that one of his peers that he admires brought attention to it. Because it was just like...
It's like, hey, dude, I'm negotiating here. Stop it.
Right. So, yeah, it'll be...
Stop poking the bear.
It'll be interesting to see. I think if we're jumping over to Ricochet and whether or not he's going to be in... whether he's going to AEW or whether he's staying in WWE, I think next Monday will be the tale. Next Monday will tell us one way or another.
So rumors, and the same rumors that also called the Braun Breaker taking him out last night.
Mm-hmm.
Also have that he made his decision on Sunday that he is he's going somewhere else, and they've already taken his Speed Championship off of him and put him on Andrade.
which if I'm Andrade,
because they filmed that like. Because going to be in Glasgow and everything overseas, they filmed 2 weeks worth, and so they just haven't posted it on X yet.
Yeah, it should drop tomorrow, I think. Although that's one of those that if I'm Andrade, he was upset about being relegated to Collision in AEW. He thought he should have been on Dynamite. And it's like, hey, they at least put you on Collision. WWE has put you on...
You're not even on TV?
The platform formerly known as Twitter. Like,
sure.
That's kind of harsh. But yeah, the only way that I see Ricochet coming back is if Monday Braun Breaker winds up doing something towards Samantha Irvin. Like, if he winds up doing anything. Like, I mean, if he just kind of walks into the ring and looks at her, no big deal. If he winds up walking over by her and doing a stare down, Ricochet's coming back. If he says anything to her, Ricochet's probably coming back. But if it just goes untold from his perspective, then I don't see him coming back. And I can't imagine that, they would do something like that without knowing he's coming back, because then it's just wasted energy.
And also knowing how many guys have left the Fed, gone to AEW, and had this big, huge, hey, we signed, yay! And then 3-6 months down the road, where are they?
Right.
You're Ricochet. Where do you go?
If I'm Ricochet, I'm going to AEW. Because if I'm Ricochet, I'm looking at the people that have kind of been highlighted and promoted the most, and they are the ones that were the guys that were talked about the most on the indies in the early 2010s. Those are the ones that Tony Khan has really been promoting and pushing. And so if I'm Ricochet, I'm coming in and I'm saying, yeah, if I step in here, why wouldn't he want Ricochet versus Ospreay to run it back? Why wouldn't he want me to have a shot at Danielson or Malachi Black again? Like all of these guys that I wrestled in Dragon Gate and in PWG, all of them that I on Lucha Underground. It's like, hey, I could see Tony Khan definitely pushing him at that. And Ricochet's, he's kind of voiced his frustration of not being able to showcase his talents. He's not the greatest on the microphone. Right. He's one of the greatest in the ring. So it's like...
Right, but then it also opens the door for him to be able to do a New Japan or go here or go there, or whatever. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's where I could see him making that decision.
What do you think, Dust?
I think he needs to go to AEW.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's a lot more people that will complement his style in AEW than there is in WWE.
You think it's more of a style thing, or?
I think there's a lot more people in AEW that will complement his style of wrestling, that do similar type style wrestling. And, it's not just the big guy, once in a while throw in little guys, but mostly big guys and big moves type of thing.
He seems like a guy that...
I think he's got a lot more.
He seems like somebody who is in a creative rut where he doesn't have anybody that can challenge him in a physical creativity standpoint, because the people that he's wrestling in WWE, he's got to do enough work just to get them to understand how to do what he's doing. Like, they can't keep up on his current level, so to try to push, he's always having to slow himself down and go at 50% speed type of a deal. I think that's where there just seems like, and maybe it's just my projection on that, but it just seems like he's in a little bit of a creative rut and wanting something to challenge him.
And there's a difference between the WWE style and everybody else. WWE style is the style of, you have 4, 5, 6 moves, and you want to do those 4, 5, 6 moves every single time because that's what the crowd likes. When you're Hulk Hogan, you do your big boot, your clothesline, your stinky leg drop, and you're done. When you're The Rock, you do the rock bottom, you do the people's elbow. It's the same over and over and over. That's because people love it, and people tune in just to see that.
Yeah.
With AEW, you still have those same moves, but you have the chain wrestling in between those moves. You have the some impromptu high flying and things that you normally will never see in the WWE. You see it in New Japan, you see it in Ring of Honor, you even see it in Impact.
Yeah.
But you don't see it in the WWE style of wrestling.
Right.
That's why I think that AEW would complement him more, because he has so much to give yet.
Yeah, the only time you see that in WWE is on pay-per-views, and those are going to be the big money draws. And the big money draws on the pay-per-views are primarily going to be your story-driven characters, which is going to require you to talk on the mic, and that's where, I understand why WWE, for what they do, why they haven't promoted a Ricochet to a main event level. If you can't hold your own on a mic real well, you're not going to be able to help drive that story week by week. So,
and people are always going to say, well, look at what they did with Ray Ray, but Ray Ray's a 1 in a million.
Yeah.
You know,
but Ray
like,
could even
drives
cut
me
a
bananas.
Promo.
Yeah, and drives me bananas when people talk about Dragon Lee is the next Ray Ray. No. Let Dragon Lee be Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Don't try and put anybody else in the Ray Ray shoes, because they're going to fail, because they're trying to. He's an anomaly, and that's great for him. It's just like, you get somebody like a Brock Lesnar. He's an anomaly. Not every big guy can do what he does. You gotta do you and make it work. So, the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we had a NXT thing on Sunday. We had a crossover promotion match, which I hear went fairly well. Was it Jordan Grace? Is that her name?
Yeah, Jordan Grace and
she got injured.
Ethan Page both had title opportunities. Both of them kind of outsiders. Jordan more so than Ethan Page even.
Jordan Grace got injured.
Yeah.
Her earring got ripped out, and it just took a chunk.
Yep.
And it's like, she's like, I am now retiring the earrings.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's the first TNA pay-per-view I have watched since, like, TNA, or not TNA, but first a NXT pay-per-view since NXT. Like the Black and Gold era. I haven't watched any NXT since then because it's been boring.
Okay.
Their version of the Forbidden Door, I was intrigued with. I thought, hey, here's a chance to shake up the industry and do something special, and they let me down. I figured the best way to shake up the industry is, like, let's put a WWE belt on somebody who's not a WWE guy. Like, let's let Jordan Grace win it, and then, hey, 7 days later, you get TNA doing a pay-per-view, and then she can get a rematch. So you let Jordan take the belt, and then the rematch, and you get it. That would have shaken up the industry, like going back to when a title used to change at a house show.
Like, do you think it was almost predicted that, though?
No, I think most people. I think most people did not expect that to happen. The ones that were very hopeful would be like me, where it was like, hey, this new Triple H regime, I don't know what's going to happen. Is he willing to really shake up the industry and do something that is unexpected? Because that would be
unexpected. I think the fact that he's got multiple people from another promotion on there alone is he's willing to shake things up. To what degree is more of the question, but
yeah.
And what do you think of the show?
What?
Dustin, what did you think of the show? He's being quiet for a change.
Yeah, I watched what I wanted to watch out of it. I watched the Ethan Page match. I watched the Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez match, and I watched the ladder match for the women's North American title. I thought the match of the night was the ladder match.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it was good. I mean, they complimented each other. There were some spots that, ladders are so unpredictable. You cannot. Those are the matches that every wrestler that's ever been in one hates, because you don't know what those aluminum ladders are going to do when you hit them. They had some moves, some spots that looked painful. And then they executed everything well enough to keep everybody safe, in my opinion.
Good.
I mean, of course, you're going to end up with bumps and bruises. You might even have what's her name, Lash, whatever her name is. I want to say Lash LaRue, but that's not him. Whatever her name is.
I was thinking it. I was trying not.
She smacked her butt right into the ladder on the outside and bent the ladder. And I thought, I instantly thought of a Nia Jax comment when that happened, but she wasn't as funny as Nia at that time. I am still a Sol Ruka fan. Yep. I mean, I liked Kalani, who won. I liked her. I think she's done really well, especially did a phenomenal job. The others were good supportive roles. But it was a good match.
Okay.
Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez, it was a match.
Dustin bumped out on us. We kind of heard him cutting out a little bit, so had a feeling that could have happened at any point in time. But no, my thing with
the sounds of it, I mean, it sounded like a decent show.
It was,
but something about it, it just wasn't where you were expecting. Maybe
it's NXT, so it's just it is what it is.
There he is.
NXT is definitely developmental, and that's the thing. This new version of NXT. And that's the hard part. NXT used to be developmental, but then when they had their black and gold era where you had all of your main eventers now back then, that was more fun to watch. And it didn't feel like developmental. It was like, no, this is just the top indie talent that are in...
Sure.
They're learning the WWE style, which to me, looking back on it, it was like, hey, we're going to try to knock some of that indie polish off of them. Just so that they fit into our mold a little bit better, which not saying it's bad at all. It was just, it's the right thing to do for WWE. However, back then you weren't dealing with individuals that were green that were wrestling. This one you are, which now it makes me think the way they're incorporating and the reason they're incorporating the TNA, is because they realize, hey, all of our talent are green, and most of them aren't the greatest at wrestling, so we need to get other people that actually can wrestle in here to hopefully elevate them up a little bit and give them a rub. And it's like, I get that because that's what they've been doing by taking main event roster and putting them on NXT.
Right, trying to give them some instruction and some rub.
Yeah, and I get what they're doing. It's just I was hoping this was going to be a little bit of a change, and that's what let me down a little bit. But yeah, like Dustin said, I think the tag or that ladder match, and I did watch all the matches. The ladder match was the best one.
Cool.
Some missed things, like you said. There was one, I don't even remember which girl they had, where it was like they all gorilla pressed her above.
The last girl.
Yeah, and then like just chuck her over the ropes onto the ladder. Like the bump she took,
butt right on her.
It was like, all right, fair enough. And then Sol Ruka, she stands out in that match as being the only one that is main event ready. They could put her on the main roster right now, and it would work.
Agreed.
And her soul catcher, that inverted blockbuster diamond cutter, I don't even know.
Oh, I've seen that. She did it off the ladder, didn't she?
She did it off the turnbuckle to one girl, and then spun around and did it off the ladder to another one.
Oy.
Yeah. We might call that a front flipping Oz cutter.
Yeah. Diving inverted, whatever.
Because she's
tumbleweed.
Hitting it,
Triple Lundy, got it.
The what?
Yeah. Yeah, the diving inverted triple Lindy was Dustin's.
Yes.
Reverse brain buster.
So that one. So my last question about NXT before we move on to the main roster is, do you think, or maybe you guys would know better than I, are a lot of the guys and gals in NXT right now just people that have a great look as opposed to talent?
Yep.
Like they got a great look, a great build, they can follow directions, but they just don't have any in-ring experience. Which there's something to be said for that. I mean,
there's still
until you've been in front of a crowd, you don't know.
Yeah, I think what they are is you were saying a lack of personality, right, Dustin?
Yeah, there's a lack of personality too. I'm going to move my microphone closer.
To me, I think what it is it is somebody, whether it was Triple H, whether it was Shawn Michaels, William Regal, who knows, somebody saw them and saw something in them, and they developed enough that they're like, well, it's not like we have a really stacked roster for TV, and they're at least TV ready. Let's put them out and let's try it. I don't know what they see in them. That's the issue that I have. Apart from a couple of them, Trick Williams, I get what they see in him. He's good, not great, not phenomenal. He's good. He's got a great look to him, and he's easy to get behind. So I get that. I get why they've got Trick Williams. Wesley, he's one of the few that have a buttload of talent, but I think he actually came from TNA beforehand. And so it's like there are a couple that they've got some good ability. There's some of the NXT UK guys from Gallus that are in there that are, I mean, they've got the in-ring ability. They're just developing more of the characters, what they're working on. But apart from a few. When
NXT had the biggest boom and you had the guys and gals that were coming up and just coming out like a Pez dispenser nearly every week.
Yeah.
I mean, look at those people.
Right.
I mean, you've got a lot of people with some indie talent, a lot of people with the pedigree in their family.
Yep.
So their exposure to a lot of the things is there that they just pick up naturally and they just think is like common sense that you actually have to teach others. And not that all of them get it, but I mean, let's be a little more selective. Keep in mind that we pull in guys like Kevin Owens that looks like melted ice cream, but the guy can go with anybody.
Correct.
And he can sell his butt off.
Yep.
And you took the mask off of El Generico and look where that guy's at.
Yep.
And I mean, you look at the three guys from the Shield and where they gone and where they went and look at all the four horsewomen.
Yeah.
Each of them in their own right. And I mean, come on.
The interesting thing is, like, you look at the Shield. That was a good example because I don't remember who it was I was talking to about this, and it was about the current NXT model. Roman, he would have fit more in the current NXT, what they're looking for. They're looking for people that have some athletic ability, they've got a good look, and maybe they've got a pedigree behind them type of a deal. They weren't looking for the people that have already got proven ability in the ring and know how to work. However, what you wound up seeing is from the Shield, Roman was the last one to find any success. And that came at the hand of WWE constantly forcing them.
Put the machine behind him.
They constantly forcing him down our throats over and over and over again. Rejected. The fans wouldn't get it. And it didn't actually click until Paul Heyman got signed up with him. And Paul taught him how to actually talk and be believable. Let people actually believe what you're saying you believe. That's when things changed. But it took years for him to finally catch up. Whereas the rest of them...
when he did...
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can catch up and you can learn it, and you get the machine behind you, it doesn't matter who you are, they can push you to the moon. And that's...
Yeah, but like I said a few weeks back, I mean, what I said a few weeks back was that I catch an NXT here and there because for the most part, when I do watch it, it's like I don't believe any of these people are what they say they are or who they say they are.
Right.
I mean, it is worse acting than reality television. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
I was actually thinking because, I wouldn't mind checking another promotion out. Obviously we got our hands full with all the WWE and AEW programming, but I thought, hey, why not check out NXT, especially if they're doing this thing with, TNA. I gave them a pay-per-view, or a PLE, hopeful. And I'm not going to watch it.
Even if, like you said, maybe it was a bit disappointing, it's hopeful that they're looking at making some adjustments.
Well, yeah, and that's where I don't know if they are actually willing to make the adjustments that are necessary for it. I think I'm hoping they do, but
I'm trying
at the same time, it's like you had a golden opportunity to really build something that would shock the industry and get the eyeballs going. Had Jordan Grace won and taken that belt over to TNA, show up tonight on TNA programming, holding up the NXT belt, and then get jumped and then say, all right, I want my rematch, because you don't know what WWE does. You didn't know that I've got this clause and I get an immediate rematch. You can't wrestle anybody until me. So how about we do it this weekend at your pay-per-view? And then, now that would have been WWE saying, hey, you're helping us out by making just a buzz. We're going to help you out because we're going to drive pay-per-view buys to you. And we're going to let her go over and wrestle. That's going to create huge pay-per-view buys for him. To me, it's like this partnership, the way it came across after there wasn't really any rub that they got, it looked like this partnership is fully self-serving. Until they start doing a whole lot more, until more people start showing up in TNA, or if anybody even shows up in TNA, it's a one-sided partnership. And to me, it seemed like this is WWE trying to do what AEW's been doing. And
sure.
Bottom line, it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. However, the one thing it did do is, because at least I watched it for Jordan Grace and I was impressed with her even more, and now I'm actually considering going on YouTube and spending the $1 a month to be able to watch TNA Impact.
Me too.
Because I was like, how can I find TNA Impact? It's not part of Access TV, is not on YouTube TV, so I didn't get it. And then I saw that you can spend $1 a month to become a channel member on their YouTube channel. Yes, $1 a month. And you're able to watch the show 30 minutes after it starts. So if it starts at 7, you can start watching it at 7:30. And I'm like, ooh, for 25 cents?
And
I might do that.
And for me, since I watch a lot of the shows after the fact anyway, because I'm always traveling and stuff, it works out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
I might have to do that.
What was it?
Access.
What's the channel?
Yeah.
I may have to check. I'm sure there's a way of buying some package with YouTube TV, or
there's
I think Sling
package.
has it, but whatever.
Yeah, you can get it through Sling, and I know that
is way easier.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's cheaper than a Slim Jim. Come on.
For sure. So, hey, is there anything else that happened over the week that you wanted to mention, or should we get to some predictions for Clash at the Castle this weekend?
I say, since we were talking about Slim Jims, let's just snap into the predictions.
I was going to say, let's go Otis, and I think we're in agreement with there. And am I the only one that thinks that Finn Balor and the Hussey are working the Judgment Day?
After last night with the little card swipe and in the pocket,
not so sneaky snag of the card.
Yeah. It very well could be.
And somebody posted online that last week she came out of a car and they caught her on film coming out of the car and going into the building. And then the next interview they did out in the same parking lot, Finn Balor got out of the same car and went into the building.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it's possible.
Maybe an opportunity to bring back his other gimmick.
The demon. Yeah. There's
the demon.
There's some interesting things.
Is there any history there between him and her? That I'm missing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not that I can.
Just wondering how far back I got to keep looking. Yeah,
not that I can think of. Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting storyline. What they're going to do with it. It's at least been intriguing enough that I haven't missed Rhea as much. Not that I don't miss her there, but I haven't missed her as much with this. So.
I miss her.
Yeah. Oh, and I also found something else that was kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody caught it, but last night during the promo, when Drew McIntyre is in the ring and he winds up calling or mentions Damian Priest, his music hits, he starts coming out, and then Pat McAfee on commentary says, "Say his name and he'll appear." And I popped and I started saying, and because I believe in Joe Hendry. Because have you guys not seen Joe Hendry? You're both looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh. So Joe Hendry is one of the TNA wrestlers. And yeah, I believe he's actually from the UK somewhere. Joe Hendry, he wrote and produced his own music video, and it's I Believe in Joe Hendry. And it wound up becoming essentially a meme and blew up on social media to the point that he actually took over the Spotify charts in a couple different ways and almost knocked off Taylor Swift for the #1 spot. Just from his song. And it starts off, "Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Joe Hendry," and then some claps.
That's Kelsey's girlfriend, right?
Yes. Travis Kelce's girlfriend, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to place her. Sorry.
Anyway, that was just one of those funny things that I got a kick out of. So. All right, get into some predictions.
Predictions.
I believe in Joe Hendry. He might show up at Clash at the Castle. I have no idea.
That's your pick?
That's not my pick. Okay.
Not bloody likely.
So Clash at the Castle, which
yes. Scotland.
Yeah, which it's in Scotland, but their kickoff. I don't know what this kickoff is, but it's streaming on Peacock and then WWE on all of their socials. Friday at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Central. SmackDown will be in Glasgow that night. The next morning at 11 o'clock Central Time, we get the countdown, and then the pay-per-view will be at 1 p.m. So it's another one of those midday Saturdays that will be kind of interesting to see how that comes out.
This is what the lineup is thus far.
Correct. We've only got 5 matches announced thus far. There were a few other rumored matches. I don't know if I even wrote down what I thought there were some rumored matches. I think the rumored matches, if I remember right, there's a possibility they were saying Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa, maybe. Sheamus versus
what's his face? Skinny Boy.
Yeah. Kaiser. That's a possibility. Somebody had said a possibility or a rumor of the rematch from Gunther and Randy Orton. And then the only other rumored match I think I saw was Logan Paul versus LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes for rumored matches. Whether or not any of those actually happen, have no idea. The only one that might be a little believable, well, maybe two of them. I could see the Gunther and Randy. I could also potentially see...
They'll save that for SummerSlam.
Do you think they'll save that for SummerSlam? No, they can't save that for SummerSlam because Gunther gets his world title match.
No, that's true.
So if they do Gunther versus Randy as a rematch, it's either going to be Clash at the Castle or
Money in
the Bank. So it would be that. But the other one would possibly be Sheamus and Kaiser. That one's believable. That could be like a pre-show thing that they do on that one. Gunther and Randy would have to be a main event, or not a main event, but main card one.
Main card.
Yep. So anyways, here's the five that we've got. And I will go with the ones that are probably going to be the least contested and the most agreed upon. Here, I'll put my King of Predictions crown on because it is on the line.
You're breaking up.
Yep.
Sorry,
okay,
wishful thinking.
So we've got this one, which we got Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill putting their tag team titles on the line against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. I'll start, and I'll say Belair and Cargill are keeping this one. That's my prediction.
I am torn because here's the thing. The first time when I ended up winning, I went with what I thought was going to happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I went with what I wanted to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This time I'm torn because there's only 5 matches, so you miss one, you're pretty much done and out of the running.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you want the betting odds on this?
I'm going to go.
Mm-mm.
No,
no odds.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I think they are going to lose the titles.
Ooh.
But I'm not giving it to Baszler and Zoe. I'm going with Alba Fyre, and I can never pronounce the other girl's name.
Isla Dawn.
So, that's who I'm going with.
Sure. Two chicks I haven't seen before. Got it. Goodness. You know what?
You don't want to, but are you going to?
I hate crappy wrestlers so bad that I refuse to do it. Let's just make it interesting, and I'll pick the other team just to be different from everybody. So somebody's going to get a point out of this, and the other two are out in the wind.
So what you're saying is this, which is likely to be the very first match on the card, will likely determine who's actually going to win.
Potentially, yes. Okay. And you know what? And I'm okay with it. I would be better. I feel better about that than actually saying the name of those who shall not be spoken.
All right, fair enough. Next match I've got here.
Just Bianca Belair. Hey, if it was just Bianca Belair defending the titles by herself, I would have went with her.
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, totally different. Better match.
Or if her partner were even wrestled even half as well as she looks, then we'd be somewhere.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So the next one we've got here is Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. And do I remember? Is this an I Quit match or something like that?
Yes. I Quit match.
All right.
For the title?
Yes.
I believe it's for the title.
As far as I know.
Let me double check it.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure this was for the title.
Check and make sure.
Clash at the Castle. Let me go to.
And I get the
first. It's
not
gonna make a difference for me.
And you get the first pick. I've already locked mine in on my little spreadsheet, but
lock it in.
That's not what I wanted.
Write it or I'll break it off. Yeah, where's the Jeopardy theme song?
If it's for the title or not. I'm gonna pick Cody just because I still think it's too early for him to start losing yet.
Okay.
Agreed.
And yes.
No fanfare whatsoever. Cody's winning.
Yep. I agree. It doesn't say anything specifically about it being for or not for.
Well, that was the whole point of AJ wanting to have the rematch.
Oh, nope. It says Rhodes responded by granting Styles an undisputed WWE title match at Clash at the Castle with a twist. Rhodes demanded it be an I Quit match.
There we go.
Okay.
So, all right. So we're all in on Cody Rhodes for that one. Next up, Corey, you get to start out with this one. We've got Bayley putting her title on the line against Piper Niven.
Yeah, Bayley's taking it.
Agreed.
Not even in question. We got somebody that's been in a tag team for a while, and now all of a sudden, because, home country and all that good jazz, sure. No, Bayley's keeping it.
Yep. All right, now we're down to the last two matches, which this is where it might start to get a little bit of interesting in our predictions. We got Chad Gable going for the IC belt against Sami Zayn. And this is where, I could go lots of different ways on this. The whole thing, I don't know if I had mentioned this last week or if I mentioned it maybe to one of you in a phone call or something, that wouldn't it just be kind of fun if Chad Gable winds up winning the IC belt, but then you wind up getting Otis that winds up winning Money in the Bank, and he could cash it in on Chad Gable. That being said, I don't know. I kind of feel like the way the Chad Gable and Otis storyline has been going, especially with Sami, that we're going to get the payoff in this match
at the castle. So
I could see Otis getting involved and costing Gable the match, which, who knows, that could potentially set up him firing the Alpha Academy and then going and recruiting the Creed brothers to be his new stable before he gets a really good push. But yeah, I got to go with Sami Zayn. I can't. I don't know. I'm picking Sami Zayn.
I'm picking Chad Gable. I think he's going to take it.
Ooh, going on a limb here.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
Fair
That's
enough.
all I got. I just think so. Okay, you want me to explain it? So, in my opinion,
you don't have to.
Chad Gable is one of the most underrated wrestlers right now on the WWE roster. He has been working hard for the last several years, doing what has been asked of him. He's been performing. He's been executing everything flawlessly. And I think it's time for him to turn around and have a title. And I do think what Josh was saying earlier is going to happen, because they've also been teasing at the fact that Otis is so dumb he couldn't even keep on to his Money in the Bank briefcase. So I think Otis is going to potentially, if he's in it, going to turn around and get the Money in the Bank again. I think Chad Gable is going to win the IC belt, and I think that's what's going to happen come SummerSlam or maybe even a little later. But yeah, I'm going with Chad Gable.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is that any one of us could sit down in this match, and if given the direction, book this so that Sami wins. Cool. Mm-hmm. Nope, no problem. Now book this so that Gable wins. Cool. Done, no problem. But as far as knowing which way they're going to go, it's tricky. The only part with all that scenario hypothetical that kind of sticks in my craw a little bit is the idea of winning Money in the Bank and of all the titles that you get to just pull the trigger and get a championship anytime you want. There's very few people, I would be one, that would go after the IC belt. And I just, well, you could, theoretically, just nobody ever has, I guess.
Right.
Or unless there's something I don't know. So then it also makes me kind of beg the question. I know that Gable's he's negotiating his deal right now. So whether he stays or goes, but then we are speculating that Ricochet just left.
Yeah.
And does that mean that the Fed's going to put more into keeping him around, or are they just going to give him a small extension to finish things off through SummerSlam?
If it helps at all, the report that I heard was that I think it was from Sean Ross Sapp, and he had said his sources in WWE say that they are moving forward with storylines on the assumption that Gable is here for a while. So, and that was the thing that it's like, oh, well, now I really don't know. Because I think this one is this one could be a flip of the coin. I think this is the closest one to call.
Okay. I'm gonna say Sami just because I'm gonna call this one the way I want it, as this whole show the way I want it, as opposed to what I think.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Sami.
All right.
No more explanation.
And then that will bring us down to what is likely to be the main event. It should be the main event. Yeah, we got Damian Priest putting his title on the line against Drew McIntyre. I think, what is it, Dustin? You're up?
Drew McIntyre. He is not going to lose it at the Castle. He will win.
Ooh.
That's what I'm going with.
Going with Drew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, the last time they were in, wasn't the last Castle in England, and
Drew got hosed. It was Drew against Roman Reigns, and that is when Solo showed up and cost Drew the title.
I think that I'm agreeing with Dustin. Drew's going to take it because we're talking Scotland here. Mm-hmm. They will riot.
And I am going with Damian Priest for a couple different reasons. The first of which, I don't think that we need a title to set up the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk match that we all know we're going to be getting, and it's coming down the pipeline. Also, this title at SummerSlam is going to be defended against Gunther. I have a hard time seeing them putting a Gunther versus Drew McIntyre match together. It's easier for me to see Damian Priest versus Gunther, especially with the way that the Judgment Day is going and where I think that there's going to be a split and a break. Also, it was last night that Drew beat Finn Balor. That means the Judgment Day cannot be at ringside. There's nothing about CM Punk being at ringside. And I think CM Punk will wind up being there and cost Drew McIntyre the shot and pull another one on him the same way that he did, the same way that Drew got hosed with Solo Sikoa. CM Punk's going to do this to Drew. And yes, I know that that makes CM Punk a heel for the night. But CM Punk has a long history of being the one that the crowds cheer for and then turning heel for one night and doing stuff that he shouldn't do as a face. So that's why I think Damian's getting in.
With that being said, though, that also leads into why I also think Drew will win it, and that is because CM Punk, I think when he came in at Royal Rumble, I think they were going to push him hard.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to push him hard for a title match by WrestleMania.
Yep.
Some kind of title match. The fact that he got hurt, that took out that equation. I think they're still going to push him hard for some type of a title. I still think Drew's going to win it and get the title, but I think come later on, he may end up, Punk will do whatever he has to do to turn around and make sure he's the one that beats Drew for that title.
I could see them doing that. I'm leaning more towards the Triple H booking of long-term storytelling. And I also think that, yes, Punk wants that Mania moment where he winds up getting a title. So I think between now and then, Seth Rollins comes back and he winds up getting the belt back, only for him to then drop it to CM Punk at Mania.
Well, and we don't know the health situation for Punk or Rollins right now. I know Rollins was recently posted something about him being in the gym.
Yep.
That's good. But lifting and even running are not the same as ring work.
Right.
But that's a good sign. Punk, on the other hand, he wound up being at NXT to give somebody advice and whatnot, as opposed to being at Raw.
Yeah.
So we don't know. There may be a delay in that, which then looking at making Drew more baby, which last night he was pushing the baby card pretty hard last night. Nobody in the Judgment Day was the face. And the Judgment Day is its own self-contained animal at this point in time. I mean, they could implode or explode at any given moment. So Who knows?
All right. Well, I think that locks in our predictions. I mean, unless you guys want to change anything, I think I'm good with that. Again, those last two matches I think are the closest to call.
I just want Joshi wrong.
Why? You don't want me to be doing the next video like this too?
I'm gonna pull that thing down around your neck and see how long until you start freaking out.
Yep. All right. Well,
yep.
We're gonna get this one finish this up, wrap up this episode, and then for next week's episode, it will be a little bit early because Dustin and I will both be out of town next Tuesday when we normally record. So this one will probably be up and ready to go for Monday, or next one will be. This one should be up
pre-Raw
tomorrow. Pre-Raw. So
pre-Raw.
Yep.
Pre-Raw.
That's all I got. We'll see you guys next time.